What's going on, Facebook? Hope you're ready for another Marvelous Friday. Man, last night I watched that movie Breakthrough, and it is just an awesome movie, a surreal movie, a movie with so impact, so so crazy about how God works, man. And it hit me. It affected me and my family, me and my wife as we watched it. It affected us so much because we lived through that situation. We lived through that situation, and as we watched it, and I started seeing the characters, and I, I seen myself in so many of those characters. I seen my family in so many of those characters, and a lot of you know my story about my dad 3 years ago. Was in a coma, and doctors basically didn't have no hope like the doctors in that movie. They didn't have no faith like the doctors in that movie. Doctors kept on telling us over and over and over that my dad wouldn't make it, and a lot of what people don't know, happened in the last 3 days. It was Good Friday 2016, and I'll never forget it because Good Friday 2016, I was like the firefighter that didn't believe in God. I didn't believe there was a God. And on that Good Friday, I was on my way home and to go pick up my girls and head back because we had already been in the hospital a couple of days. And I got a call from my sister. And my sister had so much hope, so much faith. You know, everything the doctors would tell us, she would flip it and find the positive. Out of 10 bad things the doctor would tell us, she would flip one of them and say, look, there's positive, there's still hope. There's, dad's a fighter. She would keep saying. And that Good Friday when I got the phone call, I could see the doctors finally broke her. Because she had told me as she cried that she wasn't ready to lose dad. And and I was on my way home, and I told her what I thought I could tell her. I was like, don't worry, I'm almost home. I'm gonna pick up the girls and I'm gonna be right back. And this is why I always say, don't put your trust in man. Don't put your trust in man, because as my sister sat in her car crying all night with her husband, as she sat there finally breaking down, trying to comprehend what the doctors were saying, starting to believe what the doctors were saying, I never made it back. I couldn't go back. I was like that husband that couldn't go back into the room. I don't know if I thought it would be easier for me to stay home and just let my dad die. Like I said, I didn't believe in God. I didn't understand who God was. I had no faith. I came home and my daughters were ready to go. My wife was ready to go, but I couldn't get back in the car because I was believing the doctors the whole time. I did not have one piece of faith that my dad would make it. And that night, I remember I cried a lot. I prayed a lot. I didn't sleep because I knew there was somewhere I needed to be. I knew there was somewhere I needed to be. And it's just so crazy because the doctors have the clipboards, they have the numbers on the clipboards, and they'll tell you what's gonna happen, and a lot of us take their word. When the doctors were telling us it was impossible, they didn't understand this Lord I serve is possible. He is possible to make miracles. He is possible to pull something off that is unbelievable. And it truly was unbelievable because when my dad opened his eyes Easter morning 2016, that Thursday, that Friday, that Saturday, that Sunday, you know, from Friday when we got the news to Sunday, those were the 3 hardest days of my life. But they turned into the 3 best days of my life because the doctors still would tell us that he has a long road to recovery and he's not going to be able to make it. They gave him 3 months. They don't understand this Lord we serve, how big he is, how greater he is than any doctor, man. 3 months turned into 3 months and 3 years. And it's just so amazing. Like, I could not see what happened. See that firefighter? He didn't believe in God. He didn't believe in God, but he was put in that situation for a reason. He was put in that situation so God could show him. He could take any atheist, any non-believer, and he could show him, I am God. The book of Ezekiel, when I started following Christ, chapter 37, the Valley of Dry Bones, became my favorite book because it talked about a valley of dry bones that the Lord took Ezekiel in, and Ezekiel, the Lord asked Ezekiel, could these bones ever live again? And Ezekiel told him, only you have the answer, Lord. Only you know the answer. And the Lord told Ezekiel to prophesy over them, tell them that he will put breath back into their body, life back into their bones, so you would see that I am the Lord. And I felt like I lived that situation with my dad. I felt like the Lord put breath back into his body, put life back into his bones, so I would see that this Lord is real. I want to share something with you. When my dad passed away, it was Memorial Day weekend. My dad was a vet. I got the call, was there Wednesday. I came home. Thursday, I got the call, something wasn't going right. So I hopped in the car. Me and my wife hopped in. We started driving up there. And I pleaded with the Lord. I pleaded with the Lord to let me be there. I told the Lord, everything you've asked for me, I've done so far. Whenever you put a person around me and you needed me to talk to him, I have talked to him. Whenever you needed me to go out in the crowd and speak your name, I went out in the crowd and speak your name, Lord. Give me this opportunity to be with my dad. And when I got there, my dad had just passed away, and I was mad. I was mad at the Lord. I felt like he didn't give me that opportunity. But I can't understand. See, I was wrapped up in the process, and the promise was kept. Because I could feel the presence of my dad. I could feel the presence of my dad watching over us as we sat there. I could feel the presence of my dad with the Lord watching over us as we left that hospital. And I still feel my dad's presence. I still feel the Lord's presence still pushing me. So when I speak, I don't speak because I want to. I don't speak because I want to do this. There's times where I want to turn my back and just walk away. But I speak to all those that are having a hard time, all those that are in a dark situation, all those that think they cannot do it, to let them see that there is a glimpse of hope. That there is a glimpse of hope of whatever situation they're in. And that glimpse of hope is bigger than we could imagine. That glimpse of hope is larger than we could ever expect. That glimpse of hope is greater than any expectations we actually have. Because if he did it for me, he could do it for you, and he could do it over and over and over again. You see, when the doctors gave my dad 3 months, the Lord said, no, I am God. Gave him 3 years. And although it still hurt when we lost him, although the pain was still there, he knew. He knew it was time and we would be okay. And it's nothing but a great feeling, know that my dad is up there with God, because he fulfilled God's will. See, I never thought or imagined I would be speaking about God 3 years ago, because I didn't believe in God. And although it took a miracle for me to come and start preaching the word, that miracle still hurt. That miracle left me in shattered pieces. But when I needed to find out who God was, who this God was that loved me so much, that loved my family so much, that was still there when we were broken, I found Jesus Christ, and that's why I keep speaking Jesus Christ's name everywhere I go, is because it's just simply amazing just what he has done and what he will do and what he is doing. So I love y'all, Facebook. Y'all have a blessed day.